I'm on my way to work, but I've just received a call and I've got to take a bit of a detour. A massive storm blew up last night, and I'm suspecting this penguin I'm going to see right now was caught right in the middle of it. Hello.
Go in here and
No worries, thank you.
American visitors Dan and Ashley have found an injured penguin washed up on Bondi Beach while they were going for a late night swim.
I'm just going to have a little look at him, and I just don't want to stress him out too much right now.
We figured he might be in a little bit of trouble, kind of the way he was walking, the way he was using his wing and stuff, so we couldn't really leave him there, so we decided we'd grab him.
Is there a name for him?
We've been calling him Harmon.
Harmon. So was he unable to move when you saw him?
No, he wasn't unable to move, he just seemed like he
Didn't really want to.
didn't really want to move that much. He just seemed like he was kind of struggling, he did move.
He's not meant to be in a bathtub. So in his mind, he's freaking out right now. Harmon must be terrified. I'm thinking the poor little guy normally lives in a penguin colony on the northern side of the harbour. And during last night's storm, he's been tossed around and blown way off course. That explains how he ended up being washed ashore at Bondi at 3 a.m. But it doesn't explain why he's so weak and why he's left himself so open to predators.
My buddy, go get better, huh?
Okay, thank you guys.
Yeah, thank you so much.
There is something seriously wrong with little Harmon, and there's absolutely no chance of him surviving the ocean until I figure out what it is.
Back at the clinic, Chris is trying to find out why Harmon is so weak.
So I'm sitting here checking his heart, which sounds okay. Notice his eyes are actually quite sunken, so he is certainly dehydrated, and that comes from the fact that he hasn't eaten, really, certainly today. Birds, like penguins, get their water through their fish, and if he hasn't eaten, then he hasn't drunk either. Pretty small, aren't you? I reckon you might be young. Young kid not able to handle a big cert, huh? Is that what happened?
As he checks the penguin's weight, he makes an alarming discovery.
Give me a second. What is that? Can't be. You see this? That's a tick. Look at it, it's been feeding off little Harmon here for at least a few days, and all the while that ticks are feeding, they're injecting their saliva, which has a toxin which paralyses them. But it paralyses them from the back forward. Why couldn't he stand up on the beach this morning? Why couldn't he run away? Paralysed legs. Just got to be careful to get all of the tick. And that's it right there. It's a big tick. Big tick. A paralysis tick on a dog or a cat? Absolutely. But on a penguin? It's got to be some sort of first. Another one. Can you believe it? There it is, number 2. Just in awe of the fact that one of these could be fatal for a big dog. He's got 2.
Chris is now considering giving Harmon a tick anti-serum, normally used on cats and dogs. But it's impossible to predict what effect it will have on a penguin.
I can give Harmon the tick serum and risk him suffering a fatal allergic reaction, or I can do nothing and potentially watch him die from the effects of the paralysis ticks. This is such a tough call. You stand up for us?
Harmon is now feeling the full effects of the tick paralysis. The penguin can no longer stand up.
Harmon is getting much worse, so that's really made the final decision for me. Not gonna move? I just don't think he's gonna survive without having that anti-serum. So I'm just gonna have to take the risk there could be a potentially fatal allergic reaction. Right, fingers crossed. That's all you've got.
Harmon will now be monitored constantly to make sure he has no adverse reaction to the serum.
As a vet, the best advice that I can give pet owners is this. Think carefully about the choices that you make on behalf of your pet, and you can literally save their lives. And if you make healthy choices, you will have a healthier pet.
His heart rate's certainly stable. There's no sound of any bronchoconstriction, which is the narrowing of the airways in an allergic reaction. So he's tracking along pretty well.
Harmon has made it through stage 1 of his recovery, but the little penguin still has a long way to go.
He's still fighting the effects of the tick paralysis, and we just won't know if that anti-serum's going to work for at least another 24 hours. You know where you're going though, don't you? To my house. You had no choice in the matter at all. Harmon needs peace and quiet to recover and to get his strength back. But a vet clinic full of barking dogs obviously isn't the place to do that. So I'm going to have to take him home with me. That means I've got to tell my flatmates to keep the noise down. Hello, George.
Hello.
Do you have to inspect all visitors, George?
It's been a torrid day for Harmon, and finally the exhausted penguin gets a much-needed feed.
Harmon, meet George. George went in the ocean. He didn't like it. You live in the ocean. You like it.
George is the cat who made headlines when he was cruelly locked in a cage, dumped in the Bondi surf and left to drown. Chris saved him and ended up adopting him.
And now he's living a pretty good life, with the occasional visitor. You ever get the feeling you're being watched, Harmon? It's bedtime. I know it's early.
Harmon will need to be checked during the night to make sure the anti-serum is winning the battle against the tick toxin.
Have a good night's sleep, buddy.
The next 12 hours are critical.
You got food on your mind? No, finger. That's not a fish. That's a fish. Here you go.
Next morning, Harmon is desperate for more food.
That's an improvement, isn't it? It's coming.
It's a good sign that he's winning the battle against the tick poison in his system.
This is why I'm quite keen to get him on his way soon. This is behaviour he'd normally display around his mum. He's begging for food and he's thinking I'm actually going to regurgitate the food seemingly through my fingers. That's penguin saliva. Easy into it, easy into it. It's salty. He's pretty much ready to make the journey he was trying to attempt during that storm. So we're going to do it for him, but in a bit of a scenic way. How you going? I'm Chris.
Very well, nice to meet you, Chris. Rick.
Hey Rick, now this is Harmon.
I've never had a passenger like that in my taxi before, I must say. We're very excited.
Any extra fare for him?
Absolutely gorgeous, no, not at all. He's free.
Look at this. It's all right, isn't it? Look at that. You reckon? Oh, you want to go, don't you? As soon as we were out in the water, Harmon started to get excited. He's had such a tough battle. I just hope he can find his mates and get on with his life. But with wildlife releases, there's never any guarantees. Is this familiar, Harmon? All starting to make sense? Won't be too long. It's just a perfect spot. Quiet, secluded beach. We're surrounded by penguin colonies. He just has to jump into that water there and he'll find some friends. It's just spot on. You keep safe, champ. Okay. Here you go. Here you go. Here you go, champ. Here you go. Off you go. To navigate all those challenges, come through it all, and then have this, great.
Hi, I'm Dr. Danny Dusek from Bondi Vet. If you love our show and want to see more, plus some amazing content about pets and how to care for them, hit the subscribe button. Click that little notification bell and we'll see you on our next video.